And we are live for the fifth episode of the Bronx Babble podcast. I'm your host, Matt, Luz, Luigi, and tonight I'm with Andrew and I'm with Alex. What's up, guys?
How's it going, Luigi?
How's it going, y'all?
It's going pretty good. A lot of storylines since we last left you guys. Some important discoveries being made with most popular Yankee on the team in Aaron Judge, and we're gonna get right into that because I think that's very important. And I believe it was on the R2C2 podcast they announced it. Am I right, Andrew?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it was because it was the Players Tribune podcast, obviously, and this is from the new ESPN staff writer. I also want to give him a shout out. Coley Harvey is replacing Andrew Marchand.
Peace.
No comment. And I'm just going to read off what he posted this week. Aaron Judge, who said on a Players Tribune podcast Wednesday that he thinks he's, quote, one and done with the home run derby, tells reporters this morning he's standing by that decision. Last year's winner wants to go out on top. As you know, he fell into a deep slump just after the derby, and there are suspicions his left shoulder injury stemmed from the derby. When asked about the possible injury connections, Judge said he preferred to not answer that question. So some very cryptic wording by Judge there. Obviously not, coming out and saying I hurt my shoulder in the derby, but heavily implying it. What were your guys' reaction to what Judge had to say this week?
I basically took that as he injured his shoulder in the derby.
Yes.
Because if he had said something, like if they had asked him whether there was a connection and he just said no, I mean, then there's nothing. But the fact that he just said he doesn't want to answer that question, he might as well have just said, yes, I injured my shoulder in the derby.
I'm a little torn. I definitely think that the home run derby didn't help. I know he started the slump about a week before the All-Star break, and my suspicion is that he potentially was injured at that point. I don't know if there's a moment where he maybe ran into the wall, making a catch, or maybe swung at a slider way out of the zone and pulled something there. But whether he heard it during the derby or beforehand, it certainly didn't help taking all those extra swings where you're just, swinging for the fences, hitting the ball as far as you can, a lot of uppercut, a lot of torque on a joint. So definitely something that we had an interesting podcast, our group me chat for the whole blog. And I know it's something that we have time to delve into that a little bit, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll go for it.
All
right. I think there was about 10 people involved in this going back and forth, but
there's a good amount.
The big thing is did he injure himself during the derby? Did the derby help? Should he do it again? Did the derby make a difference whatsoever? We had a guy say that the home run derby is basically the same thing as batting practice. So he would do the same number, the same amount of leverage. There's a lot going on, and we had a lot of different opinions.
It really is hard to say because you could probably watch that derby, every swing he took in the derby in slow motion, and you probably won't be able to see anything. But I believe, what was it? I forget who they were playing, but I believe he injured his shoulder on a slide, or at least hurt it. And look, it goes without saying, and I think it's obvious that not participating in the derby would have helped his shoulder more than participating in the derby. That's just it's obvious. But to argue that the derby had no effect and the derby is based, because look, we all see the videos almost every game before every game of Judge just hitting balls, launching balls in batting practice, hitting balls that we've never seen. But it's not the batting practice is not the same as the home run derby. It's completely different. You're actually working on things in batting practice, where a home run derby is, as implied in the title, a derby of home runs. So
yeah, and you're on a clock too. I think that has to be considered when you're taking batting practice. You're just out there free swinging. You're trying to work the ball to the opposite field. Protect the plate, In a home run derby, you're going to get pitches relatively in the zone, but you're going to chase if something's thrown a little out, and you're up against the clock. So that could definitely, the free swing of motion isn't the same as it would be during batting practice.
Yeah, in the home run derby, you're a lot more almost like rushed because of the clock, where batting practice is a lot more relaxed and you're just trying to do your thing and work on things. Where at home run derby, you're just going bomb after bomb after bomb and swing after swing after swing. And that definitely did not help his shoulder, and it's just not the same thing as batting practice.
Yeah, so I think we all agree about Judge and the shoulder and how that negatively affected him in the home run derby. But let's just talk about how he kind of said he's going to be a one and done in the home run derby. Do you guys agree with that? Because a lot of people who aren't Yankee fans, obviously, are going to be upset at that. Now, I'm not saying that I care, but I'm just saying that Judge, he was the face of baseball. Manfred came out and said it last summer, blah, blah, blah. But
my thinking with that is like, I'm good with Judge like not participating in the Derby again, because even if, say hypothetically, the Derby had nothing to do with his slump, you don't want to take the chance that it could happen again. But I remember I was saying the other day that someone like Stanton, who's been in multiple Derbies and hasn't exactly struggled after that, I'd be fine if he wanted to be in the home run Derby for the 2018 season, because like last year, he was in the 2017 home run derby, and then he went out and hit, 16 or 17, 18 home runs in August.
I think it was 18.
Yeah, I think it was 18.
Yeah,
but,
you know what might be you got to consider is the fact that he was a one and done. He lost to Gary in the first round, so maybe the effects are obviously a lot more strenuous on Judge, because he had
true. Yeah,
100 to 120 swings, whatever it is. I think I'm in the same boat. I wouldn't be too upset if Judge didn't do it again. I'll tell you who is upset. ESPN, who's going to carry the home run derby year after year. Rob Manfred, who cares about rankings. They definitely want him in the derby, but for the benefit of the Yankees and keeping arguably their most important player healthy, I don't mind him never doing it again.
I mean, I don't mind him never doing it again, but I don't know. I think if like 7 years down the road, if he's just tearing it apart, right? He's having another big first half, then why not do the Derby again? Because it is just such a spectacle to watch him compete in that. But what I was thinking earlier was the fact that, I know I do a lot of cross-sport analogies, but you look at a guy like Vince Carter, who had probably, in my opinion, the best dunk contest performance of all time. And in my opinion, it's not close. So he never did the dunk contest again after that. It was just, that was his performance. That was it. And Michael Jordan did the same thing, even though I wasn't old enough to remember that one. So if if that was his one home run derby, then hey, that was some performance, right? He was killing the ball. I mean, I'm not going to say it was the best home run derby performance of all time. I think Hamilton sticks out at me, but it was definitely up there. And if that was his only home run derby, then hey, that's his choice, and he definitely shouldn't do. Let me say this: he definitely should not do it in the next season, or probably the next couple seasons.
Yeah, give it a few years.
Yeah, just to kind of hey, let's not let this be an issue again, because people say, oh, he still hit 53 home runs. Yeah, what if he could have hit 63? Right?
Exactly. And the one big thing you have to look at too, and like I hate to say it, but he still only has one full season under his belt. So, and you don't know how he's going to do this next season. So, and I don't think anyone thinks he's going to go out there and hit 210 with 10 home runs, but he probably maybe will regress a little bit. So, and people might think,
well, just think regressing for Judge would be 270 with 41 homers.
40 home runs, yeah.
Right? Even if he hits, I said to myself, even if he hits 260 with 37 and 100, that's still a pretty damn good sophomore season.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and the Yankees mitigate that by, they just added the National League MVP. Gary's going to have another season. They're going to get a full season out of Bird. So even if Judge drops, let's say, 15 home runs in 2018, I mean, they're going to more than make up for it with the rest of the roster.
It's pretty great to think that just like with the amount of home runs that the team hit last year, Sanchez didn't play a full year. Didi didn't play a full year. It's going to be Bird's first full year. Like they could really hit a ton of them because Didi and Gary missed the first month of the season and still, hit 25 and 33 home runs.
And even, you got to remember, even Gardy last year was popping them out. I think, did he have a career high last year?
Yeah, at 21, and he 21? Was awful in April. He didn't hit his first one until like the last day of April.
Well, I forget what month it was in, but what was the weekend where it was just Gardner it was like the weekend of his life? Would he have like
I think it was May. That was May.
Yeah.
Talk about the series against Tampa Bay when he had the triple, I think he had like a home run he had the triple. Ended up scoring the tying run, then hit the walk-off, then had the single the next day, the walk-off.
That was pretty good. I think with Gardner, he's so streaky. Like, there'll be sometimes he'll just he'll go off and he'll hit, 10 home runs in a month or something, and then he'll have a 630 OPS in the next month and hit one.
He's always been like that.
Longest tenured Yankee, which is, I think someone told, how long has it been like that Gardner's been the longest tenured Yankee?
Probably since Cano left, right?
Yeah, because he came up in 08.
Well, I guess technically
Jeter.
after Cano left,
Jeter,
you had another year of Jeter.
Well,
A-Rod, right?
Oh yeah, we're stupid.
Yeah, I was about to say Cano. It's either Jeter or A-Rod.
Whoops. So last season, pretty much.
Well, A-Rod and Gardner.
Gardner been on the Yankees
I'm thinking I'm all over the place. Yeah, you're right. A-Rod for sure.
Well, anyway, I didn't mean to juke out my co-host there. Let's, since we were talking about Gardy, we're talking about Judge. It brings up the debate that I think. Look, I believe that 1 through 6 in the Yankees lineup is set, and Gardner, and this is no particular order: Gardner, Bird, Judge, Stanton, Gary, and Didi. I think those are going to be your first 6 hitters, and it's all about what the order is going to be. And I believe Boone said this week in one of the many interviews he's been doing that he would, in a perfect world, I think he said he would like to have a lefty between Judge and Stanton, which I don't think is necessary. In my opinion, I don't think you have to have a lefty between those two guys. And I don't think he didn't say that there had to be a lefty, but I don't know. Because we talked about it, I believe, on the first or second episode, the whole would you be open to Judge or Stanton hitting leadoff? And I really would. The more I think about it, Judge hitting leadoff for how much he gets on base, it really wouldn't be a bad move. Would it slightly negatively affect his RBI numbers? Probably. But I think he would just get on base just as much. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Because it really is a compelling case.
Thing with Judge that makes me think that he really could be a decent leadoff hitter is that people are going to say that he strikes out so much, so he's not going to be a good leadoff hitter. But even with his 200 plus strikeouts last year, he had over 400 on base percentage.
Yep. All he does is I would always say last year, even if Judge was on a stretch of 5 for 30, or he
would still be walking.
Yeah, he would still be up again where he's 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 run.
Yeah.
You always appreciate guys that do that. You say, all right, even if this guy can't hit, he's still going to find ways to get on base. And that's why I think Judge for leadoff wouldn't be a bad move. Because look, let's be real. Who's going to have a higher on base percentage this year? Judge or Gardner?
It's going to be Judge, and it probably won't even be close.
Yeah. Because look, if you put Gardner like 6th or 7th towards like the bottom of the order,
I would put Gardner 9th if he's not leading off.
He could be a good anchor towards that bottom of the lineup if you put him with guys like Andujar or whoever's going to be down there, whether it's Drury or
Wade,
whoever's down there. Gardner would be a good wedge because there's a chance that if your bottom 3 is, I don't know, there's just those competition of the second baseman and third baseman, those guys could all be hitting under 220. So you might need a guy down there that is at least going to be hitting 240, 250. And I think that Gardner might be that guy.
Let me whet your appetite for a little bit. I know Gardner hasn't played the past few days, but I believe it's 2 games in a row. It might be 3. Aaron Hicks has batted leadoff, and they haven't been split squad games as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. So I know that's not something that we've considered, but it's something that Boone seems to be testing with. And in that case, then obviously you're going to drop Gardner down to 8 or 9 in the order. But you have the switch hitter who has a higher on base percentage than Gardner, a little more pop than Gardner. Granted, he hasn't played 140 games or more since he's been with New York, but
I like Hicksy towards the bottom of the lineup. I think he's going to have to play himself in. I could see him hitting second by the summer if he's hitting close to 300, if he earns that spot. But to begin the year, I don't think he's going to be the number 2 hitter. I think
Hicks will just be, like, to start the year, he's just going to be 7th because he's like, you have the first 6 guys, and then you have Hicks, who's like a tier below them.
And you have to have some protection for Bird or Didi, whoever's batting 6.
Exactly.
One of our writers, who will go unnamed, of course, was trying to argue that Jacoby Ellsbury was going to win the starting job from Aaron Hicks. And I almost just threw down my drink because in what world is Jacoby Ellsbury just going to beat out Hicks? Even if Hicks is hitting below 200, the dude is the best defensive outfielder on the Yankees by far.
He's easily, yeah.
By far. I mean, the guy is a phenomenal center fielder. And really, the Yankees don't really have a center fielder other than Hicks. What are you going to put noodle arm Ellsbury out there?
I mean, Gardner's not bad.
Gardner's a great – I was about to say, Hicks is a much better outfielder than Gardner, and Gardner won a Gold Glove in 2016.
Yeah, he should have won it last year, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't like – Ellsbury would have to start juicing heavy if he wants to win that job. Like, let's be real. Oh,
well, guys, let me circle this back to the leadoff hitter debate. I'm going to name drop someone in favor of Aaron Judge. If you're going to talk about having your best hitter in the leadoff spot and getting success out of it, Cleveland Indians bat Francisco Lindor leadoff. I know he doesn't walk or strike out as much. He did hit 33 home runs, drove in about 90 last year. His RBI production was probably limited by the fact that he had no one hitting ahead of him. But I mean, they had arguably the second best offense. Well, I guess the Yankees' offense went hot and cold during the year, so I don't know if I'm going to put them in the league with last year with Houston and Cleveland. But I mean, it was those two teams, and Lindor was the one setting the table every night.
That's interesting, but like,
anyone want to get? Okay, let me just say this real quick. Does anyone want to guess DD's on base percentage last year?
Oh, it was like 320, wasn't it?
287.
330.
It was
something like that. Yeah,
318.
Oh Jesus!
That is. You know who used to be like that? Cano. Like Cano used to have a 320. Cano would have a 320 average, but his on base percentage would be like 330.
Yeah,
I would be like, hey, how the hell aren't you getting on base more with all these hits? But I like my leadoff guys with a 400, ideally with the 400 plus on base percentage in a perfect.
And Gardner's not bad. He'll get like 350, 360 every year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how Didi batted leadoff the other day, I don't understand the logic behind that, because he's very good at putting the bat on the ball, and he will hit for pretty high average, but the guy does not walk at all. So I think having him lower down in the lineup where he has a chance to drive in more runs and doesn't have to worry about getting on base as much, it'll help him a lot more.
Yeah, I know the leadoff hitter pretty much doesn't matter once the first inning passes. Then whoever leads off is the leadoff hitter, right? But I like the leadoff hitter to see some pitches, and Judge is the guy to see.
He led the AL in pitches per plate appearance.
And don't you think this year that pitchers, you really think pitchers are just going to start the year going after Judge? They're going to just throw him absolute crap.
Yeah.
All April. And he's I could see just Judge probably hitting maybe below 250 in April, but still having a 430. Because I just feel like he's not going to get a lot of swings. Like, I feel like he's just going to be walking, and maybe that's going to throw him off a little bit. And
would that be the worst thing, that pitchers are afraid to face him, and he learns some patience, and he's just taking his walks for an entire month until someone realizes that we got to attack this guy.
Well, and then
anyone opposed to having the leadoff man on every night?
Oh man, so yeah, we'll obviously it all depends who's hitting leadoff on opening day. I think it'll be Gardner.
I think it'll be Gardner.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any shot.
Barring any injury, it probably will be Gardner.
We'll see as the year goes on, right? There's always you never know if Gardner's just gonna. Who knows? Guys get old fast in this league, and Gardner's getting up there in years. So we'll see. We shall see. Well, so next time, I just want to hit on this really quick because I cut off Nick on our last show when he was about to talk about this, and I forgot to mention it again. But I'm calling myself out there. But the whole Stanton in left field debacle, right? He lost one in the sun, and then there was one down the line that it looked pretty bad. But it's spring training. It's his first game out there, and I don't know what do you get. It's no big deal, right, guys?
It's not a big deal at all.
Okay.
Like it's his first game in left field, and I mean, when do you think the last time he played left field was? It was years ago.
So we shouldn't trade him.
No, the trade has not been a bust yet.
And one of the things that people don't consider, I mean, Luigi, you could speak on it because you're from there, but this time of year doesn't. I mean, the angle of the sun at let's say 1:30, 2 o'clock. The sun's right in his eyes. I mean, I've watched tons of games on MLB Network.
Playing the outfield in Florida. Playing the outfield in Florida is brutal.
Yeah, I think our account retweeted or quote tweeted a video about 3 or 4 days ago that just said, sun 1, Major League Outfielders 0 or something like that. It was just a compilation of guys losing the ball in the sun. They were all
a lot of established outfielders. A lot of established outfielders lost balls in the sun too.
Yeah, so it's not a big deal that Stanton loses a few in the sun in his first game in left field. If he's doing that, during the season and a night game, then it's a bit of a problem. But right now, it's nothing to look into at all. Plus, the other day he caught one in left field. So,
all right, MVP back on.
Yeah, there you go.
I think after he caught it, he raised his hands up sarcastically. I thought that was pretty funny.
Like he just won Wimbledon.
All right, so I just wanted to hit on that really quickly. Didn't want to spend too much time on that.
Shout out to Nick for bringing that up last episode.
Shout out to me for completely forgetting to
you don't deserve a shout out for that.
So let's move on to the Pinstripe Previews. I think it's one of my favorite parts of the show. Really enjoying doing these. We have 3 more hot Yankee names. Let's start off with the catcher of the New York Yankees. And that is Gary Sanchez. Gary, he's scary. Just we all were wondering. It was kind of funny going into the 2017 season. Really, the guy we were watching was Gary. You're like, can't wait to see Gary again. Judge was the 8-hitter. We were not clamoring to see Judge. It was Gary Sanchez, the guy that a lot of people are calling the quote-unquote forgotten Yankee, which I think is kind of I don't know. I don't think it's appropriate because I think people
I haven't spoken to one Yankee fan who undervalues Gary Sanchez.
I don't think the fact that people are talking about him, the fact that he's not forgotten. The guy hit 33 home runs last year, and with a month lost to the season, I believe he missed a good month. A 4.1 WAR, just phenomenal. I mean, the guy really is just positioning himself, like we said a few shows ago, to become the best catcher in baseball. He's already by far the best offensive catcher in baseball. I don't even think that's debatable. I love myself some Buster Posey, but Buster Posey does not have the ability to hit 40-plus home runs each year like Gary does. So what do you guys – let me hear some right off the bat before we get into Gary and his 2018 season and some of his struggles last year. Give me a home run total for Gary this season if he stays healthy.
I'm going to make a bold prediction, and I'm going to say he hits 40 on the last day of the season.
Wow. Someone clip that. Anthony, what about you?
I'm going to say 37. I know that's a per game average drop from last year, but I think he looks like he lost a little bit of weight. So he's going to be a little more flexible, a little more, I think you're going to see a lot more doubles from him this year. He should ideally get his batting average up in the 280, 290 range. And I'd be totally okay with him giving up 3 to 4 home runs in favor of 10 points better on his batting average over the whole year. So I'll say 37.
Yeah, we're all going to be in the same ballpark because I'm going to go 36 with the same reason as you. I think he actually increases his batting average a bit this year. I think he might get up to that 290 range, but because he's just going to have a lot because I feel like Gary is going to be hitting 5th, and that for Gary, he's just going to be hitting with. I think I'm just going to say this right now. I think Gary's going to lead the team in RBIs. I know that might be Judge and Stanton are going to have their fair share of runs batted in, but I think Gary is just going to be in the most situations to drive in runs, and I think he's going to end up with a big number, probably over 130 if we're being honest.
If he bats 5th, he's going to have Judge, Stanton, Bird, or Didi, and Gardner ahead of him, who all can get on base. Didi just by hits. But so yeah, I think you're right with that. He'll definitely have a really good chance to lead the team in RBIs.
I think the consensus in our poll, in our group me a couple of weeks ago, was that Didi was going to have the highest batting average on the team. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Gary. Like I had mentioned, I think it was in our first podcast that he was hitting, I think 315, 320, something like that, his first season until he went something ridiculous like 1 for 24 to end the year, which dropped him down to 298 or something like that. So, I mean, he was clear 300. He was a good hitter and not just hitting the ball out of the yard.
Yeah, I said last show, the only guy that compared to Judge StatCast wise was Stanton. Gary's up there. Gary, that ball he hit. I know StatCast is probably off during spring training, but I want a StatCast on that his first home run in the spring.
That thing was a bomb.
That ball sounded like a rifle being shot off his bat. I mean, that was just
It's funny you bring up StatCast because about 30, 40 minutes ago, they just posted something that his arm is measured out stronger in this spring training already than it has at any point in his career beforehand. So, so that rifle that he has behind the plate, he's got a strong arm this year.
What were you gonna say, Alex?
I said he just got better.
Yeah, right I mean, really, because he's still young. He's still about to enter his second full season. Really, it's his 3rd season, but it's his second full season. Yeah, and you talked about his rifle. Gary's 39% career caught stealing percentage, which is really good. But look, we got to talk about the defensive issues. The pass balls, the errors. I think he had 13 errors last year, 16 pass balls.
I guarantee he's been working on that constantly.
I mean, he better.
He doesn't have a choice.
He's at there. He's hitting great. Yeah, go on.
His problem with blocking pitches, I think, like defensively, it wasn't good, but it wasn't so bad that he was a bad defensive catcher because of how his other abilities were. His arm is one of the best, and like his pitch framing was rated really well. So if he works and fixes his blocking, then he definitely will be the best catcher in the game. Mm-hmm. But I don't think, even if it's improved a little bit or it's the same, I don't think it'll be that big of a detriment. Like it'll cost a few runs, but I don't think it'll be that much of a problem.
You guys want to hear a scary stat? I'm on this new baseballsavant.mlb.com. It's like this new database that MLB has for StatCast measurements. Gary's pop time to second base, 1.93 seconds.
Anything under 2 is just
insane.
Ridiculous.
Yadi Molina, for reference, 1.97. Wow. The league leader is Austin Hedges interestingly enough, at 1.89, but Gary ranked third in baseball.
Wow.
Who was second?
JT Realmuto.
Wow.
Still hanging out with the fish.
Poor guy.
Begging to leave.
He's like, wait, you didn't trade me?
Him and Bohr, I feel bad for.
And Gary Sanchez rated out as the highest. It just says arm. I don't know. I'm assuming this is
Arm strength.
Velocity of throw, maybe. 87.8. So from a crouch, no momentum, squatting, he could fire off a ball down the second base at 88 miles an hour.
Imagine Gary as a pitcher.
He would just always call the catcher out to the mound.
That would never happen. But imagine like in a blowout, they just put him in to pitch. That'd be fantastic.
Gary's 6'2", 230. He's listed at. That's a tank.
That's insane.
Okay, so with Gary though, give me over or under 10 errors in the 2018 season for Gary. Or should I say not? I'll say 9.5. So 9 or less, or 10 or more.
Are we saying just pass balls or errors? Because errors also includes catcher's interference.
You're right. Let's go pass balls. So he was at 16 pass balls last year. Over or under 12.5 this year?
I'm gonna say slightly over.
Yeah, I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna say 10.
I'm gonna say
13, 14. Yeah, I'm gonna say like 13 or 14.
Because I still just don't see how it's going to be. Because I feel like there were games, there were stretches where he would allow 2 or 3 pass balls in a couple games. So
my thinking is like
Dylan Betances too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, no, and they also have Gray for a full year, who he throws like 7 or 8 different pitches based on his grips. So, and you'd think they're probably pretty difficult to memorize the whole thing and memorize the movement of each, because Gray is so good at getting different movement on his pitches.
And Robertson's changeup's a knuckle change, right?
Exactly.
Or knuckle curve.
That'll be bouncing in the dirt. Dellen's going to be bouncing in the dirt.
I'm going to go aggressive and say 10.
I'm going
13. And one more thing I wanted to mention about Gary is there's a new MLB rule that should be called the Gary Sanchez rule. It should literally be called the Gary Sanchez rule, because he's gonna break that multiple times. He's gonna be at 6 in like the 3rd inning one game, and someone's gonna say, Gary, we have 1 mound visit left, and there's 7 innings of baseball. he's gonna have to watch out for that.
Yeah, because I remember in the ALCS, he'd be going to in like the 7th or 8th inning, he'd be going to the mound 4 or 5 times an inning.
Strike 1, mound visit.
Yep.
Ball
2
1,
pitches later, mound visit.
Hey, he likes talking to his pitcher. I like it. I don't think it's just another rule to try to shorten a baseball game by 20 seconds. That's gonna put a lot more people in the seats. But anyways, I don't want to get mad. So let's go to our next. Gary, obviously one of the part of the modern age murderers row for the Yankees, with him, Stanton, and Judge. So going to be really exciting to see Gary. It's going to be exciting to see this team. What am I saying? All right, our next Pinstripe. Yeah, let's stick behind the plate. We've been going mostly starters, but we're going to do a Pinstripe preview real quick for none other than Austin Romine, who I don't want to hear that negativity. I know. Look, I know he's got a -2 career WAR. He was statistically one of the worst hitters last year. He had 218, 2 homers, 21 RBIs.
Which is even more incredible because when he was covering for Gary in April, he was pretty decent.
He was actually pretty good, and he hit both his home runs then too.
I think Romine is a guy. I think he's not. I'm not going to call him the perfect backup catcher, but he's a good. Yeah, I was about to say perfect doesn't describe Romine as a baseball player, but I think he's a good backup catcher. I would rather him back there than Kratz or whoever else they're going to put back there. I think
K. Higgy.
I think I was about to say I don't want to even say K. Higgy, but I don't. I don't think that. I think Romine got too much playing time last year. Like, look, 229 at bats for Austin Romine is
That's
a
a
no-go.
lot. I mean, a lot of that was when he was covering for Gary.
Yeah, I was about to say you don't plan on your starting catcher going down for a month, so that obviously has a lot to do with it. But I think it's a situation with Romine that if Gary gets hurt, if Gary, knock on wood, if Gary gets hurt, he's out for 2 months. I think Romine should still be the backup catcher. I think at that point you got to give a guy another chance because he's almost guaranteed to hit below 220 to just be a dead weight in the lineup. But as the backup catcher, I think he does well. If he's just catching one every 8 games when Gary's resting and there's like a number 4 or 5 pitcher on the mound, then I don't mind. So what you guys think that Romine will remain the backup catcher throughout the year?
I think he will solely because of his familiarity with the pitching staff. Like he knows everyone already. He's caught them, and so he's gonna be more used to catching the Yankees pitching staff than say Kratz would or Higashioka would. So I think that's why he would. I don't necessarily agree that he should be the Yankees backup catcher because I'm a very big anti-Austin Romine guy.
Not a part of the Austin Romine fan club.
Yes, I'm not a part of that. But yeah, for the most part, I think he definitely will remain the backup catcher because he's been the backup catcher for a while now, and he knows the Yankees pitchers really kind of as well as Sanchez does because he's been on the team for a lot longer.
Yeah, and we actually had a pretty spirited debate, BBB debate, I want to say 3-4 months ago, probably right at the beginning of the offseason. People were clamoring for, hey, why not sign a guy like Alex Avila as the backup catcher? And I think for me, that was the biggest point against it. Avila is definitely a better hitter than Romine, but he's really not a good defensive catcher at all. And Romine knows the pitching staff so well, and that's something that you can't take for granted. Should he be playing 40 or more games? No, definitely not. But he's very good at controlling games. He's a good manager behind the plate, so to speak. Guys like CC, who've worked with him for 6-7 years, will swear by him. I think that's something that you have to make sure he's on the roster no matter what.
Yeah, that's exactly my thought. Romine he's like I said, he's not the perfect backup catcher, but I think at this time and situation, he's the ideal backup catcher you want. I don't think you would want a guy in there like Kratz or Higashioka who it just could be a liability defensively. And I think when you have a backup catcher, you're thinking more about defense than offense. So,
say what you want about Austin Romine's offense. Kyle Higashioka has exactly 0 major league hits.
They got to get him a hit. So come on,
he's got to get a hit. He's got to get it this year.
Someone lob this man a hit. I'm thinking, you know what, over or under for Austin Romine, 100 at bats this year. And I know this is kind of a tricky one because it really depends on injuries, but over or under 100 at bats for Austin Romine.
I'm going to say if Sanchez is healthy the entire year, Romine gets slightly over 100 at bats.
I'm going to say over easily. Whether Gary is healthy or not, there's going to be a lot of times they'll put him at DH. You got to figure Yankee Stadium is one of the few places that they always play Saturday afternoon games. So day game after night game on Friday night. Usually you don't like to have your catcher catch 2 games in a row. I just think the opportunities present themselves that Romine's going to get into a lot of games, even if it's as a late inning defensive substitution. Say they pinch run for Gary and then they got to put him in, or they're going to play Gary, but at the DH, I think Romine easily gets 100 bats.
Bonus over and under for Romine. Over under 0.5 fights with Miguel Cabrera.
I'm going to say over on that.
I'm going to play it safe and say under. That's not going to happen again this year.
Rematch? Question mark. All right, yeah. So we got how to give Romine a shout out. Loves. He's almost certainly going to be on the roster, part of the 25-man. But our final Pinstripe preview is none other than the man who was a part of was a part of a lot of great gifts last year between him running from the bullpen and him holding his crotch after Gary got hit. He was.
I think everyone in the world just cringed after that.
It's the high socks man himself. It's D-Rob. D-Rob, it's kind of funny because you almost forget that we traded for D-Rob in the middle of last season because he was on the Yankees before, and now going into this season, it's like, it's D-Rob. He's a Yankee. But this is the last year of that contract Robertson signed, so most likely he's most likely not going to be on the Yankees next year. Let's be real. But last year, when the Yankees signed him, he was phenomenal. Get this. With the White Sox, he had 31 games pitched for Chicago last year and 30 games pitched for the Yankees. 10 earned runs with Chicago, 4 earned runs with the Yankees. 2.7 ERA with Chicago, 1.03 ERA with the Yankees. So he was great last year when they signed him. He was a big part of the postseason. Ended with I believe a 1.84 ERA overall. So guys, because obviously it's still yet to be determined how Boone's going to play the bullpen, whether he's going to have a set 7 to set 6 or he's going to let it roll. But do you see D-Rob getting the most work, maybe the most appearances, the most innings out of the group of 5, 6 kind of 1 or 2 inning shutdown guys that the Yankees have in the bullpen? Could you see D-Rob being the most used?
I'm going to say he probably will have the most appearances, but I don't think he'll have the most innings because I think Chad Green's probably going to be used for more than 1 inning at a time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think D-Rob, especially, he showed in the playoffs last year that he can come in and pitch multiple innings, a lot.
He threw 50 pitches in the wild card game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He threw, 3 1/3 innings or something in the wild card game? Mm-hmm. And then he came back, and I think he pitched in game 2 of the ALDS. So he can pitch a lot, and he's willing to do anything that he possibly can to help the Yankees win. So I think he'll definitely be up there for the most appearances for any reliever.
I think for sure he's the designated fireman, kind of in a way that Tito Francona likes to use Andrew Miller. Don't strap an inning roll on him. If the situation begs for a strikeout, you maybe not even a ground ball. You got to come in and get a strikeout. He's your guy. Chad Green could play that role too. He could also be the guy to come in, get 1 or 2 outs, and then pitch another 2 innings after that. But I think Robertson definitely has the most appearances, barring health, the rest of the whole season. He's the guy that they're going to turn to first in their moment of need.
Yeah, he really was, because I think out of all, if you compared Betances and all the guys in the bullpen, I think D-Rob, putting it nicely, probably has the quote-unquote worst stuff out of all those guys. He definitely has he definitely throws the slowest, right? He's probably the only guy that doesn't consistently sit over 95, but heck, he's just so good at painting those corners. Who was it against that? I think it was when the Yankees first got him. I think it was against Seattle, and he let up a home run, and it was like on such a perfect pitch that it was.
Oh yeah, Cano hit that.
Yeah, right. Remember that?
When they were in Seattle, he threw a perfect pitch right in the outside corner, low and away.
Yeah, and Cano just punched it out.
Yeah.
And it's just something like that where those were one of his earned runs, and he's just so good he's just so perfect at painting the corners and just working guys around. Because in this day and age, it seems like 90% of guys that come out in the 7th or 8th inning are throwing 96 plus. But there's D-Rob still just doing it the old-fashioned way, still posting a 1.84 ERA. So, yeah, I'm excited to see D-Rob what he does this year, because he could, if Boone likes to have a clear 8th inning guy, especially with Betances and in quote-unquote baseball rehab, D-Rob could be the 8th inning guy. He could be the consistent 8th inning guy, because I think, like we said, I think he was going to want Chad Green in that kind of maybe that 5th, 6th / just early inning mop-up role. You can't forget about Canely. But, yeah, so, over and under for D-Rob, a 2 ERA. Is he going to be in the 1s, or is he going to be above 2?
He's going to be in the 2s, but it's not going to be, I'm going to say like mid to lower 2s. Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. Maybe 2-2, 2-3. There's probably going to be a couple blow performances where we're going to be sitting here screaming, calling for his head. But, one appearance where you get 1 out, allow 4 runs, really weighs heavy on 6 shutout appearances. So I think his ERA will be around 2. But that by no means he had a bad season.
Yeah, like you were saying before, Luigi, how he basically has the worst stuff of anyone in the Yankees bullpen besides maybe Shreve. But
I'm saying out of those 5 shutdowns.
Oh yeah. Out of them, he definitely has the worst stuff. And how Cano, he'd flip that home run on a pitch that was located perfectly. And there's probably going to be a few instances of that where he executes the pitch perfectly, but because his stuff is not as good as some of the other pitchers, a good hitter like Cano will be able to hit it. So, and a 91 mile an hour fastball in the corner is a lot easier to hit than a Chapman 102 mile an hour fastball in the corner.
Hey guys, BJ Upton, Melvin Upton Jr., whatever we're calling him, hit a walk-off home run a couple years ago off Andrew Miller. So,
that is true.
and I could go back and look it up, but I don't think it was a bad pitch there either. Every once in a while, someone just puts a good swing on a pitch.
Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Robbie Cano. Miss you, man. We're about to have Brandon Drury at second base. I think D-Rob's going to be under. I think he's going to have another great year. Look, I'm not saying this is why, but it is a contract year. I think him and Green are going to be the 2 best bullpen guys. I think they're both going to be in the 1s next year, him and Green. So I'm going to go with under for D-Rob. Anything else to say about D-Rob? Because I think he's such an important part of this team. And I think if this team does win a World Series, he's going to be the guy in the bullpen that is most I know there's Chappie and I know that we have a lot of guys in the bullpen, but there's something about D-Rob that just screams big game bullpen guy to me.
Well, especially for an LGS game too.
Yeah.
That was probably his weakest moment of the season last year is that home run he allowed to Bruce.
Yeah.
But even after everything that happened, the Lindor Grand Slam, the non-challenge, we still could have won that game. Mm-hmm. But as soon as Bruce tied that, we were dead.
Yeah. That was not good.
Just think when you compare D-Rob to a guy like Betances. D-Rob, if D-Rob's off just a little bit, he's getting smacked. Whereas Betances could be so off and he's still throwing 99 and just a nasty breaker and it could still get guys out.
D-Rob has much better control though.
Not even close.
And I know we've heard it for probably 10 years at this point, but he has that really long stride, so his fastball plays faster than it actually is. The gun, they say 94, but it appears like 95 and a half, 96.
Yeah, absolutely. So those were our 3 Pinstripe previews. Don't know who we're going to do for the next show, but we'll probably keep it with starters. Maybe we still haven't done Judge, still haven't done Sevy, still a lot of guys to be done. So we'll keep dealing with those. But let's kind of finish the show in talking about probably one of the worst business decisions in baseball that I've seen in a while. So Mike Moustakas today signed back with the Royals for 1 year and $5.5 million, which $5.5 million is a lot of money. But it's not a lot of money when it could have been close to $17 million. So guys, Mike Moustakas is if you're Mike Moustakas, how are you feeling today?
I would feel partially kind of relieved because he actually got a contract. I don't know what other offers he got, but he's back with the Royals, who he's familiar with, and he has a team for 2018. So I'd be relieved there, but also I'd partially hate myself for turning down the qualifying offer.
The words that come to my mind are angry, mad, bamboozled. There's a lot of words that come to my mind if I'm Mike Moustakas right now. And the thing I wanted to get this to is the fact that you hear Yankee fans saying, 1 year, we should have got him. They got Moose for 1 year, 5.5. Which look, that is a bargain for me.
It's a bargain for a guy who
million.
38 home runs last year.
Yeah, $5.5 million for a guy that hit 38 bombs is a lot. But look, Mike Moustakas is just not that great of a baseball player. We were talking. I said this to Alex and Andrew earlier. I said, guess what Mike Moustakas' career on base percentage is? It's 305. That's brutal. That is bad. That is, I mean, you think, I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, you should, if you're a good hitter, you should be a 300 hitter. No, absolutely not. But the fact that there's guys with, 310, 320 career average, a 305 on base percentage is beyond bad. I mean, the guy really, look, last year, yeah, he hit 38 homers, sure, but that was his first season hitting 30-plus homers. That could have very well just been a kind of a fluke season. He very well could just go back to hitting 250 with 20 homers.
But everyone hit more home runs last year.
Yeah, I was about to say, last year was kind of, you almost have to grade it on a curve because, guys that were never hitting double-digit home runs were popping out 15. So, yeah, I'm just glad that Mike Moustakas is not a Yankee.
Let me quickly drop some stats that I tweeted out earlier today.
Go on.
14 on base percentage to go along with his home runs.
Andrew, wait, you just lagged that. Can you?
Yeah, your mic just cut out there.
Alrighty.
Let me drop some
quick
stats.
Mike Moustakas.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
All right. A 314 on base percentage. He grounded into 18 double plays.
Ugh.
He racked up a whopping total of 34 walks last season.
Wow.
Accounted for a negative 3.1 ultimate zone rating.
That's pretty good.
Negative 8 defensive runs saved.
Wow. Yeah, that is bad, not good.
I have to believe that the people who are clamoring for, oh, why didn't we sign this guy? That's such a bargain. Cashman sucks for not giving him $6 million, are the same people who blew their load when we traded for Brandon Drury. Anointed him as the next savior.
To go along with that, like the people who are mad that the Yankees didn't get him for $5.5 million, like that's not what he was looking for. Like he didn't come into this offseason after he turned down the qualifying offer saying, you know what, if the Yankees offer me $5.5 million for 1 year, I'm going to go to them. He wanted a 5-year, $80 million contract. And when no one was willing to give him that because teams are, smart and realize that, okay, he's not that good, he didn't have a contract, and the Yankees didn't want to pay him at all because they knew he's not that good. And we
didn't sign Todd Frazier for 2 years, $14 million that he got from the Mets. So why would we go any further for Moustakas?
Exactly. And honestly, I'd rather have Todd Frazier than Moustakas.
No one can see it, but I'm doing a thumbs down at my computer right now. It was almost like a sigh of relief because I remember seeing a lot of people saying, oh man, the Yankees should get Moustakas. And look, I said, if Moustakas' average year is what I think Greg Bird's going to do this year, plus have a much better on base percentage, plus be a much better defensive first baseman. So I'm good.
I mean, imagine if the Yankees actually signed Moustakas like for that right now with the spring that Andujar's having. There would be an outrage because people are like, why did you sign him when Andujar's, 4 home runs and he's destroying spring training right now?
Yep, it's I think the Yankees dodged a bullet there. So I think we have anything else to say? Any other news and notes about our favorite team, the New York Yankees?
Yeah, I did just want to do a quick shout out. We put out a mailbag, didn't get too many responses before the show, but
we have to put it out like the day before. We put it out. That's all good.
At Buford T. Buford, you think the Browns will take Ellsbury? I know the Cleveland Browns made a bunch of deals today, and our friend Buford here is asking if there's any chance that Jimmy Haslam will buy off the contract with Jacoby Ellsbury.
It's possible.
It's definitely a possibility.
I will see what I can do. I will
run it by him.
I will contact my representatives and see what they can do. But yeah, the Browns made a lot of good moves today. I'm just glad as a Giants fan that the whole Odell and Jarvis thing didn't happen because they're boys, and there was actually people that wanted to see Odell and Jarvis on the same team, and I would have been mad.
I think that might have been as toxic as Melky and Cano in 2008. I know they got their shit together in 09. We won, and then they played together. Actually, I don't think they played together again because we traded Melky after that. But in 2008, they were going out a lot, and they both slumped big time. It was the year we didn't make the playoffs, Girardi's first season. You don't want the boys hanging out and ultimately not. It takes away from your performance on the field.
They were popping more bottles than they were popping home runs out of Yankee Stadium that year.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's our show. We're going to be doing I haven't announced this yet, but I'm going to just do it now. We're going to be the Sunday before the season starts. We're going to do a full preview show. It's probably going to be a couple hours. We're going to break down the Yankees, make predictions, over and unders, win totals, the whole big thing. And we're going to be on our schedule of live Sunday night every night at 6, every Sunday night at 6. I think that's going to be the perfect time. And yeah, man, I'm just ready for opening day. I'm ready for some Yankees baseball in Yankee Stadium. I'm ready for the Yankees to just dominate the AL East because really I think the only competition is going to be Boston. And yeah, so guys, any closing thoughts?
Eaters, boys.
Eaters is all I got.
Eaters, that's all I got too. We'll catch you guys next time.